don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen.
Stock market down 10 trillion.
We got a tweet from Bill Ackman. I want you to respond. This is Bill Ackman moments ago. To state the obvious, it does not help our countries and our president's negotiating position to be trying to strike deals while our market is collapsing. Oh, great stuff, guys. Thank you. Whoever is recommending that idea to President real Donald Trump should be fired now. Strong words from Bill Ackman moments ago. Is there any chance Peter Navarro gets fired?
I mean, Peter Navarro, Stephen Miller, I mean, some of the sort of architects of this are some of Trump's closest advisors. And Peter Navarro, remember, went to jail to protect Donald Trump just last year. Trump sees a real bond of loyalty with him. I don't see anybody getting fired anytime soon, Brian. But if the market is looking for a sign that President Trump is going to back away, they're not getting it tonight. The president just arrived here at the White House a couple of minutes ago. He talked to reporters on board Air Force One. I want to play you a couple of sound bites here from him because he talked about the reason why he is doing this. You'd mentioned China, and that's what he cites right here. Take a listen.
We have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. Now, I'm willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus.
And specifically on financial markets, he was asked about the market response. Here's what he said.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen.
So the president there saying, I don't want anything going down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. Well, the market is experiencing that right now. The president also put out a post on social media a short time ago. In that post, again, nothing to give any indication, Brian, that the president is considering changing his mind. One last detail, the pool reporters who were out there when the president landed on his helicopter noted that the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is here at the White House tonight walking the colonnade. It's that kind of night when the Treasury Secretary has to come to the White House on a Sunday evening.
Well, but this was the biggest two-day crash since the pandemic. And the president on Saturday urging people, quote, to hang tough, saying it won't be easy. And I guess the big question on people's minds, Mr. Secretary, how difficult is it going to be? And how long are Americans going to have to hang tough?
Well, I reject that, the assumption. There doesn't have to be a recession. Who knows how the market is going to react in a day, in a week. What we are looking at is building the long-term economic fundamentals for prosperity that I think the previous administration had put us on a course toward financial calamity.
Joining us now by phone is CBC's own Jim Cramer to map out a game plan for tomorrow's trading day. He's the voice of the American investor. Jim, we appreciate you taking some time on us on a Sunday night. This is ugly.
Oh, true, Brian. It's definitely ugly, but you have to remember it's been ugly six times in the last 40 years in the big bear markets. And every time you had to either buy pretty much very quickly if you wanted to get a good price, except for in 2007, 2009, where it took 6 years to get back. So we're just trying to figure out exactly which of those two baskets we have. And I'd say it's more the former. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to say, get out now. I think that you got to stay the course here.
Yeah, and you were writing to your Investing Club newsletters, and I'm gonna read Jim Cramer to Jim Cramer. You said you think it's reasonable we could see an 18 multiple on $220 in earnings, which takes us down to about 4,000, but there is a worst case possible scenario even on top of that. What are some of the various possible scenarios, Jim, that you see?
Sure. Well, I think the biggest problem we have is that if you wanted to try to bottom fish tomorrow, and I don't advise that, you have to worry that Europe is going to come after us. And I think Europe comes after us between 3 and 7 days later. That would be the moment where I think if you wanted to do some buying, you would be fine. Look, if you need the money in the next year, you do want to do some selling. If you're margined, geez, I mean, I don't even know if you should bother because I'm going to send you an invitation funeral. But I do believe that what's going to happen is we'll settle in. Look, the president one wants these tariffs. This is not a negotiation. A lot of this is by Peter Navarro and influencing the president. And Peter wants the world trade imbalance with China corrected. And all the countries that are really heavily tariffed that don't look like they make any sense tend to be backdoors of China sending us things. So we're going to have to deal with that. I don't think that anything's going to be unscathed. If you wanted to know what should be unscathed, it would be the American utilities. No tariff, nothing. They're a terrific place because interest rates are going down. We have interest rates going down. I thought the Secretary Treasury was pretty good investment today when he said rates are coming down and oil's coming down. But the problem is the price earnings of oil plus to come down. What we'll pay for stocks, and that's what you're seeing right now. Is you're seeing the multiple compression just ratcheting down, and you're also, of course, going to see the earnings come down when we start seeing the reports in the next 10 days.
Because much of what they've done already on the earnings, Jim, we know happened before the tariffs, or at least even the announcement of the tariffs. So what are you then watching most closely right now? What's sort of a 1, 2, and 3 on Jim Cramer's watch list?
Well, first I'm going to look at interest rates because if let's say the 10-year goes to goes to 3.5 on a pledge equality, well then mortgage rates are going to go down. You're going to have a second, kind of a minor chord going on, which just says, you know what, if we buy American companies, maybe we're okay. So number one is American companies with no tariff exposure seem interesting to me. And if they get carried out and they're just washed down the bathtub, then I think I want to look at those because they shouldn't be. The second thing I'm looking at is I want to see whether we get any blinking at all by anyone. And then the question with the blinking is, will someone say, listen, we're going to start looking at American companies that are being tariffed and non-American companies that are being tariffed? Which from being trade to commerce. Commerce should be able to say, wait a second, we look at Vietnam. We had a lot of companies move to Vietnam, and we're tariffing them the same way we are tariffing companies that are transshipping Chinese goods. So we want the Commerce Department to get involved and be a little more circumspect about the meat axe tariffs that I think that Peter Navarro influenced the president to do. So I want to see some nuance. We're not going to get rid of the tariffs, but some nuance that makes it so that American companies do better. And then after that, I just want to kind of see exactly where things settle in, again with the acknowledgement that tomorrow is probably not the bottom, simply because Europe hasn't been heard from yet. S&P 4000, Brian, is where I'm looking.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we know how they like to do us on the weekend. But we rarely get market news on a Sunday. There's normally a geopolitical event. But we had the futures for the stock market pulling back, and we also had cryptos pull back. And we know cryptos have nothing to do with tariffs. And we had Trump on the stock market. The economy is sick, so he's bringing the medicine. But guys, we know this is a hard pill to swallow. And we know his job is to destroy this legacy market so he can build this fourth industrial revolution. And we had Scott Bessent. We don't have to have a recession. Guys, we've been in a recession. Right now, we're in a great depression. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Jim Cramer telling us that Monday would be a Black Monday. And right now, he's right when you're looking at the futures market. But I definitely see us buying that up. I do not see the S&P hitting 4,000. Like I told you, we have earnings. The algorithm is going to come in, whether it's doing puts or calls, they're coming in to buy. Now, after these big corporation earnings are over, then I definitely can see us pulling back. And we know in crypto, when we pump and dump, we know the actual dates. Do not allow this dip to scare you. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have markets when it comes to cryptos or stocks. We've been pumping and dumping, guys. But really, no tariffs have been applied yet. And we know why. It's time to build. And Jerome Powell let us know that tariffs are coming and will make inflation sticky. And that means they can pause for a little while longer. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the big CEOs saying that tariffs will lead the layoffs. And we know that as a fact. Why? Because they want to bring in the machines. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Remember, all this technology is ready. All they need is that crisis. And we have Robini on China and the U.S. The trade war is coming. We know the trade war and the currency war is coming, and that means the drums are going to start beating. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And when there is blood in the streets, people get scared. But the Fed is not coming to rescue this time until the jobs market starts to crumble. And we know that's going to happen in the second half. Remember, we already had layoffs planned anyway last year. And then on top of it, the new ones. Remember, right now, a lot of people are getting severance, so they're not included in the jobs market. We know how they manipulate the jobs numbers. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And guys, the movie is definitely coming. Now, this happened back in March on the 27th. And you know how I like to let things play out before I speak on it. And in Virginia, they arrested a MS-13. They say he's one of the top leaders. Yes, guys, you heard that correct. But he was living in an apartment, and the reason why he was arrested because he had an illegal gun. Nothing else. I've been searching all over the place. Nothing else. So we know there's something bigger around the corner, and we know how important Virginia is when it comes to the drums are beating. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Wow, S&P 4000.
Yeah.
That's a long way down from here.
Well, it rolls us back to October 23. Remember, my ultimate thinking is you have to stay the course. It even made sense to stay the course in 2007. It dropped 46%, awful. But then 2013 you were back, and then look at the move you missed. If you decided you didn't want to be in it. So let's just be a little cooler, recognize that there is going to be some pain. You can't dodge it. I'm not saying it's too late to sell. If you need the money, say, in the next year. But I'm looking for opportunities to come from the reordering, where you're going to see the big money continue to come out of the big international companies we have, and go toward the companies that just don't have any tariff issue. Is a recession on the table? Well, obviously, you don't need me to tell you that. Everyone's going to tell you that. But I do recognize that there are levels to buy things. And I think that panic is really not a strategy.
Quickly, this felt like 2020 when COVID hit. The market falling now like it did then. And I want to remind our viewers, we lost 25% top to bottom in 2022.
We want to be cooler heads than the hedge funds. The hedge funds like to get on TV and really tell you that the world's over. And billionaires just comes easy. I just want regular people, to recognize that this too shall pass, but not quickly, and that the president is deeply committed to changing the world order. He's not trying to do it in 3 months. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to do it in 3 years. He wants China to heal, and that's a very hard thing to do.
And it's a very hard thing to live through this, but we appreciate the sage and calming words, at least on a Sunday night, Jim. In 2007,
I told people they had to get the hell out, and I was right. All right, I got in a lot of trouble for saying it, and you dodged 50% decline if you listen to me. It's not like that, but I'm not afraid of getting in trouble anyway.
No, you said it. 4,000 EPS estimates. So, folks, all of this has America's top executives really on edge. That is not our opinion. That is according to a new CNBC CEO Council survey that is out right now. Of the CEOs that we surveyed, about 1/3 say it's too early to tell whether tariffs will ultimately be a negative or a positive for their business. Of course, a lot of that's going to have to do with what they do. When asked how long it might take to bring manufacturing back to the United States, most said about 3 years or more. The hard reality, a majority of CEOs that we surveyed expect a recession before the end of the year, with about half saying that a recession, if we get one, would be a little bit moderate. Our CEOs are split on if they are expecting to need job cuts from the tariff impact, with more than 1/3 saying, yeah, we will need to cut jobs, and about half saying no, or it's simply too early to know. When asked how much prices will go up, the top answers were they weren't sure, up to about 20%. Of course, some might argue tariffs ultimately might be deflationary. They might bring prices down because demand would go with it. We obviously cannot identify the CEOs that we surveyed, but here are some of their quotes. All right, CEOs we surveyed said this. One said, it's going to be a wild ride. Another worried about stagflation. One quote called this, quote, disproportionately stupid and illogical. Their words, not ours. Another warned of a so-called Trump recession.
Long rates have gone lower. The dollar is even a bit lower. Maybe that's an easing of financial condition. So he doesn't want to blink. And when it comes to Xi Jinping, there's the beginning of this game of chicken between Trump and Xi Jinping. We started with attacking them. They retaliated. We may retaliate. They're going to retaliate. That's going to lead to a full-scale trade war. I think that Xi Jinping has more leverage. He doesn't face an election next year. Yeah. He can use monetary policy, fiscal policy, and currency policy, and structural policy to strengthen domestic demand. And he's not going to give a she put a signal is going to start to negotiate until Trump is really serious about de-escalating. But it looks like Trump doesn't want to de-escalate with China because he wants to corner China and to lead to a radical reduction of the trade imbalance between U.S. and China. Now, in this game of chicken, I think that we end up actually that the rational thing to do for Trump will be to de-escalate, because if he doesn't, there is for sure a recession. If there is a recession, he loses the midterms, and then he's politically gone. But I think that he might not blink because, one, he may think there is not going to be a recession, or he might think that if there is a recession, then he can blame it on China, and the people in the Rust Belt are going to support him in his goal of reshoring manufacturing. I think it's delusional. But the probability of really collision course is really rising, and the probability of a U.S. and global recession is rising and becomes a baseline unless Trump blinks and de-escalates. We don't know where that's going to happen.
We finally got to total panic stage here. And that's often a sign that you're getting close to the bottom of a market. You know, even a few days ago, we had a lot of people that said they were bearish, but they still had a big commitment to the stock market. Well, I bet when those new numbers come out, we're going to see that equity exposure has come down a lot, cash has gone up a lot, holdings. In other words, it can't go down as much in the future simply because there's not as many people left to sell. That's a very good thing. Another good thing that's going on is even though the Fed is yet to ease, there's a lot of stimulus already being brought to bear on this situation. Bond yields have dropped almost 80 basis points from their highs just a couple months ago on the 10-year. Across most of the yield curve, they've come down a lot. That's a lot of easing already present. The dollar on real terms is down a fair amount here over the time. Again, another easing move that's been put in place. So it's nice to see that happening. We don't have the Fed, but I think they're going to come sooner than we think.
We have been out since about 4:30 this morning. The great men and women of law enforcement have been working on this operation for days and days and probably weeks. Early this morning, one of the top leaders of MS-13 was apprehended. He was the leader for the East Coast, one of the top 3 in the entire country. Right here in Virginia, living half an hour outside of Washington, D.C. He is an illegal alien from El Salvador, and he will not be living in our country much longer. He's in custody this morning. One of the top leaders right here near our nation's capital. I just cannot thank Governor Youngkin enough for his leadership in this effort. This has been a joint effort with state and local agencies. FBI Director Patel, thank you so much.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leverage to technology, and I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence.
Cryptoteacher and the new Road Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. and I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.